Hogan, who helped us throughout the week to set up our live stream. Again, thank you very much for that, and that's why we are able to come into your living rooms or into your office or onto your phone, wherever you are in the world, and to bring you some great top quality, top flight basketball action running.
Absolutely, JB. Is certainly going to be a ripper of a ball game, that is for sure. So let's have a look at some key potential matchups here, JB. What do you reckon you've got so far?
Well, I think the big question mark that's going to be coming over us at the moment is certainly going to be the matchup between Shear and George. There's no doubt about it. The hometown hero of the last 6 years versus the current hometown hero, the star import of the Hobart Huskies for the women. It's going to be a big battle there, no doubt about it. And I can't wait to see some of the younger talent that's floating around here as well. Chelsea D'Angelo, only 18 years old, was an absolute star of the Seabull the past couple of years and turning into an absolute star now. I mean, she'll be going up against the likes of an Ellie Collins, going up against the likes of a Shana Thompson, going up against the likes of a Jacqueline Poss, who all had pretty good games last week themselves. So lots of matchups floating around. I mean, Izzy Chilcott's another big one as well. I'd like to see how she's going to go in this squad. She's got a fair bit of height to her, underrated size-wise actually, so it's going to be a good matchup there. And yeah, I mean, a lot of talent floating around, Ronnie, as we just have a look here. Last week, obviously, we mentioned the loss to Geelong and then the win against the Ballarat Rush. I mean, they're big factors, you know, playing in this game as well. But they've got a lot of depth of talent here, the Spectres. I mean, you've got people like junior internationals are on their list. You've got people having played in Europe, a lot of WNBL experience, a depth of Seabull experience that a lot of clubs can't rival, not just in their women's but their men's. Their entire program has been sensational. That's one thing I think they've got, certainly the experience there.
And, of course, certainly, Carla George, last game for the Hobart Huskies here, just for a two-game stint, and then she's off to Opal's camp and then into the WNBA with the Dallas Wings. No
doubt about it, Ronnie. She's been a tremendous find for this club. 24 points, 18 rebounds last week, as we just check over the stats from last week. 33% from the field, not probably what she wanted, but was able to get it done from the stripe and was able to really eat the glass for breakfast. There's no doubt about it. She came up big. Taylor Roberts, another big one here for Hobart last week. She managed to pull a double-double and was a key factor in the team gaining its success. Kylie McCauley, another one here as she walks just towards the bench on screen there. She was a big factor coming off the pine as well. And I mean, as I mentioned, Jacqueline Poss checking in and giving some great assistance there. Ellie Collins, great assistance. I mean, as we go over as well, and we have a look at just how the Spectres went last week in their loss. Unfortunately, they only had two players in double-digit scoring, but when they really started to hit their straps, Kathleen with a double-double, 20 points, 11 rebounds, and Tony Adu, she had a great game as well. She had 25 points to go, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. Had Chelsea D'Angelo off the pine with 11 points, and Pizzy as well having 10 points. I mean, they're a deep side and they're a talented side. Obviously, when they start hitting their straps, they're very hard to beat. I mean, if we want to go even further and just look at the way they went there, Nunawading versus Ballarat, I mean, they killed them in almost every department in the win there. Obviously, a bit more even against Geelong, but yeah, certainly killed them in a big department there. And I think it's going to be the defensive factor of both squads determining this outcome.
Okay, let's have a quick talk about Nunawading, and in particular Kathleen Shearer. Now, Shearer was a fan favourite here at Hobart for the past 6 seasons, and she brought a lot of things defensively for Hobart, but now she brings that experience to Nunawading. How do you feel? How's she feeling tonight, do you feel?
Well, she's a former Seabull Defensive Player of the Year. In my mind, in 2017, probably should have been the MVP of the league, no doubt about it. So she's going to be a big impact player for this squad. And one thing she did last year is she started to take a back seat in the Chargers lineup, and she started to allow the younger talent to come through and develop. Girls like Shana Thompson, girls like Ataya Stevenson were able to come through and do their bit and really develop. Obviously a bit more depth last year in regards to extra talent coming off of her. But she was really able to allow the young talent to develop. Again, this is exactly what she's going to be able to do here. I mean, you've got 18-year-old Chelsea D'Angelo, 19-year-old Rebecca Pizzy, 19-year-old Kira Rowe, 18-year-old Emma Nankervis. They're going to absolutely thrive off the experience that Kathleen brings again. Former Defensive Player of the Year, capable scorer, capable rebounder. She's a legitimate double-double threat every night, and she can go for the triple-double when she wants to. I mean, we've seen her at her absolute best, Ronnie, and we've seen her able to take that step back to allow the talent to develop. So she's going to be a massive factor tonight. And I mean, if she's going to get her teammates involved, it could be a long night here for the Huskies.
It could well be. And of course, Coach Paul Flynn for Nunawading is going with a very young lineup here. As we have a look at the average age, it's around at 20, average 19-20 mark. So Paul obviously having a belief in his young team to see if they can get the job done.
Absolutely, and one thing there's certainly, when you look at this squad here, Ronnie, they've only got two true big man, big girls in the side. I mean, Rebecca Pizzi at 190, age 19, she's got a lot to do. She'll be working with Kathleen, who here is listed at 190. Emma Nankervis, 18 as well, at 190, so they'll be wanting to work there. Meanwhile, you look over across at the Huskies. I mean, Taylor Roberts, 190. You've got Kayla George at 193. You've got Macaulay at 185. So a reasonable matchup there. But the young side is what's going to be the big factor. I mean, maybe the young legs are also going to be a benefit. You know, the energy that we saw last week, particularly with the Spectres, Ronnie, they played a young squad and they were able to rotate their squad. And I think that's what Coach Flynn is going to want to do tonight, to really utilise his rotations, use that energy and that young legs to almost try and run Hobart off the floor here. And,
of course, what are the keys for Coach Willie Joseph and his Hobart Huskies team tonight?
The keys tonight for Willie Joseph, again, it's going to be big. I think it's going to be a matter of executing early. We both saw last week the somewhat slow start that the Huskies had. There was a lot of issues in the second quarter there. Shots weren't falling. I mean, at one point they were down, 12, 13, 14 points around that range there. So they really had to fight and get back into the game. Now, of course, once they fought and got back into the game, I mean, they hit the lead at half time, really backwards and forwards until the last quarter where they really started to hit their straps. But I think the key is going to be, particularly against this young, energetic side of the Spectres, they're really going to have to hit their straps early, because when they start wanting to run out of the gym, if you don't have the fitness to go with them, and I mean, that's one thing we've noted here, that there aren't, one thing for the Hobart girls is that essentially match fitness is what's going to be the question. Their first real hit out was last week, and it's something we questioned with the men when they were going up against the Thunder. It was their first hit out. They hadn't had any match fitness, so to speak, outside of what had been local basketball. So for a lot of these girls here, been playing for most of the last 4 to 6 weeks in Victoria and across the country, so to speak, they've got a lot of match fitness and they're able to work the game a little bit better. So I think a question of fitness, and it's going to be up to the girls to execute on offense and make those key defensive stops early if they're going to win this game.
All right, give us your tip, JB. Who's going to win this game?
I'm certainly going to go with the Huskies side here. There's no doubt about it. I think the momentum of winning at home last week, understanding the crowd and drawing that crowd back here to really have that, that 13th man, so to speak, on their side is going to be absolutely pivotal. So I am going to go with the Huskies. Just a little bit of extra talent at the absolute elite level is going to be their factor there. I mean, if you want to have a quick look there, they're the main factors there for Hobart for me that's certainly going to help them. Again, they're rebounding machines. They didn't have a shot block last week. They were leading the blocks, not one of their shots knocked out of the way. They understand their opposition with Kathleen and Izzy, and having gone against the D'Angelos and the Pizzies and the Chilcotts of the world. They've got plenty of experience going there, coming off a win, as I mentioned, and yeah, just been able to scout the opposition. So I just think that extra elite experience is probably going to get them over the line, and those other factors also.
All right, Hobart for Justin Bryan here, who's expert comments for tonight. Referees for this evening's game is Elliot Green, Connor Westwood and Nick Draper, as both teams are now in the huddles. Good little crowd building up. It will build up as the game goes along, so as you probably will see throughout the coverage, it will start. These seats should start to fill up. A good crowd in last week, JB, around about 1,100 in the house, and geez, didn't they make some noise? Absolutely, and they were absolutely roaring come three-quarter time of the women's game. Couldn't move. We had them hanging off the rafters, literally. We could see it from here, and excuse me, it's just going to be a ripper crowd. It's a ripper atmosphere down here. A little warmer than last week, Ronnie. It was very, very cold. It can get cold here at Kingborough. There's no doubt about it. So I think both teams wanting to have warmed up as quick as they can, and a whole lot of, as we get a couple of mentions there. Yeah, just the crowd getting into it is going to be a big factor. The girls warming up is going to be a big factor. But I think, too, there's going to be a bit more of a cheer for Nunawading than a lot of people think. Again, Izzy and Kathleen are homegrown girls. They've been the backbone, especially Kathleen, the backbone of Hobart basketball for the better part of the last 6 years. They're not unfamiliar faces. They are loved. They still have family and friends down here. Yeah. So, I mean, this crowd might not be as rowdy and loud for Hobart as we first thought, Ronnie. Well, yeah, potentially. I mean, yeah, it's a slow crowd, but you never know. In small environments like these or small venues, they could make some noise. I mean, it does get loud in here sometimes. No doubt about it. As we head to the tip here, it's certainly going to be Shear versus George. And
I mean, both girls...
There's a bit of banter already.
Absolutely. Both girls saw each other before the game. I think it really hit Kathleen, actually, when she's come back home and she's seen everyone. I mean, I met her at the door. I mean, plenty of other people have seen her. Managers, players, coaches, officials. You know, again, Kathleen wasn't just the star of the team. She was family to all of us. So it's good to see her back, and let's hope, you know, she has a hell of a game as well.
We are underway. Quarter number 1. Coming to you from the Kingborough Sports Centre here in Kingston as Hobart go to the left of your screen as Collins works away through the middle, looks inside for Roberts off the back door cut and gets the opening salvo of the game.
Had a lot of good form during the week, combined for over 80 points, 40 rebounds in local competition on the northwest coast. Let's see if they can do it tonight.
So Antonio Doe will get that right as we go along. Shearer with it for 3. It is familiar with these rings, JB. She did play in the senior league here and will be known to these rings here at Kingborough.
She would have liked to have made that first shot, get the team on the board, but the Huskies have started out all right here.
Collins drives and turns it over as Shearer picks up the scraps and goes back to Antonio Doe as she brings up the ball now to Chilcott. Chilcott goes baseline with the reverse, and Nunawading get their first 2 for the game.
Open baseline, just a little too much there, but started down on the defensive end with Shear getting the loose hand, but that's a great drive by Chilcott. Good start by the girls.
So Poss to bring it down. We're tied at 2 apiece. Opening minute here in quarter number 1 as Thompson gets the on ball, goes for the 3. That's off. Chilcott and Collins try to go for the rebound. Chilcott got the better of that, and she is off and running. It's tried to go to Antonio Doe, but ball went out of bounds and Hobart to get it back.
Certainly started fast here again. As I mentioned, the fitness and the youth of the Spectres is certainly going to be of great advantage. Thompson having hit the first inaugural basket of the Hobart Huskies era here in Tasmanian basketball. Would have liked to have made that last one.
Right, so Hobart to start from the baseline, and it's a 5-second violation called, and Nunawading will get the ball back. Good pressure.
Absolutely. Great defence there by the Spectres. That's exactly the start they'd want. Just want to throw Hobart on the back foot a little bit here. Last thing you want to do is be playing from behind on the road.
So, play to restart. Ball comes into Chilcott. 1-on-1 with Thompson. Chilcott gets the better of it, and again, another reverse layup, JB.
That's the second time they've been able to utilise that baseline, going the weak side of the defence there to get the score. They're going to want to patch that up pretty quickly, the Huskies.
So George with it now, pulls up, goes inside to Roberts. It's a good little move, but Roberts missed everything and hit the support system.
Has hit the support system. Wondering whether that was a block there or not. Clearly not, and Roberts will be looking to go down low all the time, though. She's quite effective on that low block. Let's see more of it.
All right. Antonio Doe brings it down. Now to, that's Rowe. Now back to Antonio Doe. Shearer at the top of the key. Looking for Chilcott. Finds her now. Shot clock's at 8. Spectres need to get busy here as Chilcott. Back to Antonio Doe. Has to throw it up from deep. And why not, JB? She throws it down with a 3.
Steph Curry range right there. A great shot. Bit of a bailout as the shot clock went down, but the Spectres have really hit their straps here. They're up by 5.
George with it now. Goes back to Poss. Now Collins. Collins drives through the middle, goes with the up and under and makes the 2.
Well, Kathleen's made her first basket, but she's made it for the Huskies. Bit of a tip in there, but I think they credit that one to Collins.
So Antonio Doe once again. Now with Shearer. Backdoor into, that was Rowe. Couldn't get it.
Good blindside there by Collins for the steal as Thompson takes the 3. Bang!
I'm sorry, no, that was Rebecca Pizzi. Sorry, my apologies. I'm just getting my numbers muddled there as we continue along. Antonio Doe. Now to Rowe. Antonio Doe for the 3. Rattles out. Shearer will get the O board. Kicks it out. Back to Rowe once again. So Rowe with it. She goes all the way over George and missed everything, but Chilcott's there to get the O board. Shearer needs to put it up now. Whistle's gone off in the background. I'm not sure what for. JB, did you?
There seems to be some sort of... They're looking at a violation of some sort. It was definitely a shot clock violation. We can see the reset there. I think there's been some sort of a communication error there with the bench and the shot clock, but nonetheless getting they're down to 11, 10, 9, 8... 7. I think we're looking at maybe only 2 on the shot clock here, so it's not going to be, if it's what I think it was, 3 seconds. Are we going to get any more or less? No, definitely 2 on the shot clock, confirmed by the refs and the bench, so look for a very quick bailout 3, and we're going to have to go all the way down. as we quickly again just relook over last week, Ronnie, for the Huskies, they managed to beat the Southern Sabres at home 76-68 in what was a pretty competitive game there for most of it. Very emotional towards the end, but managed to get the win. Meanwhile, as we look at the Spectres, they did lose, unfortunately, travelling to Geelong at 63-54, but bounced back for a great win, 89-68 against the Ballarat Rush.
All right, so shot clock is at 2. We've finally got that rectified. And so Antonio Doe to reset now. So ball with Pizzy. She goes from deep. And that missed everything, and that will be a shot clock violation. Again,
good defence there. Probably to the Huskies' advantage there, that shot clock delay. Able to just sort out their defence a little better, make the right play, force the wrong player to make the shot.
7-6 is our score line as we are just about ticked with 6:45 to go. Now, foul will be on Rebecca Pizzy as Ellie Collins will go to line for 2.
Collins having a pretty good game last week, managed to post some pretty decent numbers as we just dragged those up for you here. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists with 1 steal and 2 blocks. A very good all-round game. Collins was an absolute credit to the Tawns. Unfortunately didn't make that. Absolute credit to the Tawns last year and an absolute pivotal building block as to why they made the Seabull Championship game.
So Collins makes 1 of 2. As Antonio Doe brings the ball up the floor, now with Chilcott. She goes baseline once again. Hobart may need to look at that as Antonio Doe goes for 3. That's off. Now ball got deflected. Collins just saves it. And then ball is last touch by the Spectres, and Hobart to get it back.
It just seems to be that the Spectres have identified the side of which Shana Thompson is playing to be the weak side of the defence, and they're trying to capitalise there.
So Collins comes down inside to Roberts. Roberts goes cross court, ball turned over. As Antonio Doe now to Shearer. Shearer with a deflection by Poss and Nunawading to get it back.
I think Shearer thought she might have had her arms taken there, but no, great defence by Poss. I mean, she didn't take the arms at all, went straight for the ball, knocked it out of bounds and forced an inbounds play right under the basket.
So we're tied at 7 here. So we come to you from the Kingra Sports Centre as Shearer puts up the banker and gets it in.
Nice little friendly reception there from the bench and a couple of claps in the crowd there. It's good to see Kathleen make first basket for her first team. And Willie Joseph has seen enough, it looks, on the defensive end. Doesn't have a great smile on his face. He's gone to a timeout. And 6:11 remaining in the first. We have 7-9 there on the score in favour of the Spectres. They've come out and started fast, Ronnie.
They sure have, JB. I think that's a good positive start. I mean, first game of a road trip, you want to be coming out with that good aggression, I suppose, and really try to, rattle the home team early. And no wonder Coach Willie Joseph has called a timeout here to address the troops and try to rectify the situation. I think one of the biggest things is they've allowed Izzy Chilcott to go baseline 2 times and then scored on.
I think they've identified the weak side of the defence there is certainly the side that Thompson is guarding. Now, Thompson can play defence, there's no doubt about that. It's just the speed of foot isn't as great as that of some of the other players in the squad. So they've identified that, and with the way they're being able to draw their offence, they draw Kayla George right out. They draw Taylor Roberts right out. Ellie Collins is on the far side, and with Jacqueline trying to, maintain the point guard there. Once they close that side up, it's very hard for them to get back and save that layup. So great offensive execution for the Spectres, no doubt about that, drawing away those key players. But there's no doubt about it, Willie Joseph wanting to probably change the defence up a bit here early on.
Absolutely. So 6:11 remaining here, first quarter, as we restart from the sideline. Chilcott inbound it in.
Interesting matchup, that Chilcott and Thompson. Chilcott, the veteran and quite capable of playing. Thompson, the young gun, who's quite capable of making a shot as well.
Pizzy with it at the elbow. Just looking at Rowe. So Rowe gets the on ball from Shearer. Rowe puts it up from the free throw. Doesn't get a use of a friendly roll. George with the rebound. And Collins is off and running here. So Collins looks at her options. Goes exploring, rejected by Shearer. Great defensive play there by the Spectres as Chilcott brings the ball up the floor now. Gets a nice little screen. Looks inside. Tries to go to Pizzy, but ball deflected. Hobart to restart. Nunawading to restart.
Poss has been very busy on the deflection so far, keeping her hands busy. That's exactly what you want from a point guard. Obviously not scoring dominant, but if their ability to play defence is there and facilitate the ball, the Huskies have a shot.
Chelsea D'Angelo in for Antonio Doe as Nunawading made a sub. Ball to restart. Shearer has it. 1-on-1 with Collins. Shearer inside to Chilcott. One-on-one with Thompson. That is a mismatch you'd reckon here, JB, as Chilcott puts it up and off the window. She gets the foul and will go to the line for one.
She's taken full advantage of the matchup here, Chilcott, so far. I wonder whether Joseph's just looking to potentially make a rotational difference there. But, I mean, you've only got to look down on the floor here. At the moment, the overall height advantage has to probably go here to the Spectres, and they're taking great advantage of it in all facets of the game.
So, Izzy Chilcott, a 2014 South Conference winner with the Hobart Chargers. Played a few seasons here before going to Nunawading at the end of 2015.
As she makes the foul shot there. They're pressing up a bit here, actually, the Spectres, wanting to really tighten up that defence.
Collins, now Thompson, through George. Hobart getting through sets of hands here as Poss goes for three, just long, and Chilcott with a rebound.
Made a few of those.
But then good rebound there by Pizzy, and a foul was called on Kayla George.
Yeah, just fighting for the rebound there. Of course, it's first to the ball. You'll always get paid. Very similar in most sports, actually, Ronald, as we see a substitution about to check onto the floor here. Checking out, as we suspected there, Thompson coming out, Finlayson coming in, and I'm going to assume that's definitely a defensive move there. She's going to want to hassle Chilcott here for the next 5 and a bit minutes and just disrupt the flow of the Spectres' offence.
All right, play restarts as Shearer has it now. She goes against Collins. Shearer with those familiar moves we've seen all so long, and now foul's been called on Finlayson as Pizzy puts up the shot, and we'll go to line for two. Great
pressure there by Collins. Forced multiple pivots out of Shearer. She wanted to get the shot up, I think, and then thankfully for her, Pizzy just dropping into the low block there, the dump down, drawing the foul. That will be the first there on Finlayson. She's come in and she's going to try and use those fouls as much as she can.
Misses the first. 12-7 is our scoreline currently. We've just reached halfway through the first quarter here from the Kingra Sports Centre as she makes the second.
Played well last week in the win, Pizzy. 10 points to go with 3 rebounds.
So Collins to bring it down. As Hobart need to get a score here. They're down 6 at the moment as Finlayson goes, puts up the J from the free throw. That's off. Chilcott again with another rebound.
Using that high screen action early on, the Huskies just hasn't quite worked for them as they'd like.
So Chilcott. Nunawading will go into their set here. Gets the on ball. Looks at the options. And then decides to go to Pizzy. Now in turn, D'Angelo. Shot clock at 5 for the Spectres as D'Angelo sprints through and puts up the teardrop and knocks it down.
Great young talent, Chelsea D'Angelo. She's been a star of this league, even at such a young, raw, talented age, and she'll be looking to really make her mark here at NBL1.
Margin out to 8 now for the Spectres as Hobart need to get a move on here. George down low, double team, gets her own rebound, and then another one, and knocks it down.
That's what she was That was what she was able to do last week with Taylor Roberts. The twin towers down low, grab rebounds and get putbacks.
So Pizzy with it. Now, in term here, Chilcott back to Pizzy. A little bit of two-man game happening, and another foul being called as Pizzy will go to the line once again.
That one there looked to be on Poss, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, just got her on the arm on the way down. Again, it's that mismatch and the rotations the Spectres are causing. Checking into the game here, looks to be Macaulay. She'll check in as Taylor Roberts comes out. Meanwhile, just waiting. It looks like it must be a sub on the shooter there, getting ready to check in. Caitlin McLaughlin of the Spectres.
All right, so Rebecca Pizzy at the line once again. And she misses the first.
So as we mentioned last week, 10 points, 3 rebounds last week. All offensive rebounds and a steal, and pretty good shooting. Great minutes there, and great production for Pizzy.
1 of 2 as the substitution is made as McLaughlin comes in for Pizzy.
Started very, very well so far tonight. Pizzy should be proud of her efforts and should be one to make the most of that entering the second quarter.
So George to bring it down. We've got about 3:40 to play here in the first quarter as George just goes from downtown and that missed, unfortunately, and then ball got deflected by Finlayson, and the Spectres get the ball back.
Pretty experienced lineup here at the moment. Poss with a lot of experience, of course, having seen Finlayson, Collins, and Macaulay, play at the Seabull level, and Kayla George international level. A lot of talent on the floor.
D'Angelo baseline over Poss. It wasn't a bad move. George got the rebound, and now Poss has it as she is off and running. Looks at her options now, slows it down as the purple singlets come back. Collins goes through row there, and now foul on the play, and Hobart to get it back. That's on 13. So that's on McLaughlin.
McLaughlin's just checked into the game, picked up a foul. Now Thompson's just checking in as Poss. Is Poss coming out of the game? Yes, she is. And checking in is number 21, Tessa Boyd. Checking out number 10, Kira Rowe. So Poss coming out of the game. That'll be an interesting lineup here to see potentially watch Thompson run the point.
So George from deep, yes.
They're the jumpers she's going to need. Again, a big who can stretch the floor in today's game of basketball, Ronnie, is more than valuable, and let's see if she can keep it up.
So D'Angelo now to Shearer. Shearer for 3. That's long. Chilcott with the O board. Trying to get out of that corner here to Spectres as Chilcott goes around, puts up the little J. That misses. George with another rebound.
Huskies just want to be careful not to ball watch too much there. They had an open man in the corner. The Spectres could have cost them dearly.
Finlayson now, back to Collins. Collins looked inside but turned it down, so Collins goes for 3. That's long. Shearer picks up another board, and Nunawading bring the ball back down.
Chilcott looking to dominate this scoring option again.
Oh, Chilcott, nice little drive, but rejected by Collins. Great defensive play there by the Huskies. As Thompson comes down, pulls up for 3, and that missed clearly everything. We had a good look at that, JB.
Yeah, I think Shana's probably want to try and get herself to the line here and get a bit of shooting form in. Probably feeling a little bit down after Chilcott certainly took advantage of the matchup earlier on in the quarter. As you can see, her going directly to the matchup there. We'll see how this goes. They're probably going to want to look to free up some space on the drive.
5 points is our margin. We've just got a bit on 2 and a bit to play here in the first as D'Angelo gets that on-ball screen. D'Angelo takes her time. Now it's a Boyd. Boyd puts up the tough J and knocks it down.
They've played very well here. Executed offensive, almost perfect so far for the Spectres, and that's what's given this 7-point lead.
So Collins with it. Goes inside to McCauley. McCauley gets the foul. That will be on McLaughlin. And Colin McCauley will go to the line for 2.
Hit a big and one last week, Ronnie, just as the game was really heading into crunch time. Very emotional player is McCauley, very physical player. You'll get a full 40 minutes out of her, heart and soul, no doubt about it. So she'll be wanting to hit both of these and drag her team within 4 points.
Just feels a...
5 points, I apologise.
That's all right. It feels in some ways, JB, that both teams are just feeling each other out here. I just, what do you think?
Just a little bit. It's Kayla George. I don't know if you saw that at the foul line, just poking and prodding at Izzy Chilcott there. I don't know whether that's a good move based on the start she's had.
Well, we'll soon find out, JB, as Shearer has it. Now she gives it to D'Angelo. Back into Shearer. Cross court to Tessa Boyd. Boyd, nice little pass to Chilcott baseline. That missed everything.
Just got the glass in the way there, Ronnie.
Yep. As Collins looks at her options down here. Gets to the Thompson. Good saves. That nearly was a turnover for the Huskies. Collins has a free lane. She'll take advantage of a nice pass into McCauley. And a foul is called. And she'll go to the line for 2.
Chilcott just coming across a little bit late there. Only got McCauley on the arms. Good defensive hustle there by the Spectres to get back. But great awareness there by the Huskies. Saw the turnover almost as Thompson hustled for the ball. Fell into the lap of Coach Willie Joseph. Managed to get the ball again back to McCauley straight down the lane. And she'll head to the line as she makes the first.
McCauley's been a solid player over the years for obviously the Hobart Chargers and now for the Huskies, playing a different role this year. What do you reckon, JB? She missed one, she goes 1 or 2?
I actually think it'll be, and yep, just quickly there, Chilcott steps on the baseline. Substitutions, number 7 into the game. Chelsea D'Angelo also checking in, number 4. Rachel Antonia Du. Checking out is Izzy Chilcott.
Yes.
Do we have another player out as well? We only see one. Must have only been one. But McCauley, I think, will relish that bench spot. And I mean, that's where the senior leadership has to come into that group. Kayla George hitting a nice outside jumper there. But that leadership from the senior group, if you're willing to take a backward step for the benefit of the team, that can only be a positive influence on the younger members of this group.
Margin back to 2 here as Antonio Do is back on the floor. That was a turnover.
As we speak of McCauley,
yep,
makes the play.
She does as George comes down. Gives it off to Collins. Collins goes baseline. Nice little move. Kicks it out to Thompson. Thompson for 3. Yes!
She's a fan favourite down here in Hobart and through all of Tasmania. That's put the lead to the Huskies, and that's the confidence boost that Shana's going to need tonight.
So Huskies up by 1 as they take the lead for the second time in this ball game. Tessa Boyd with it now. So Boyd goes baseline. Nice little fake and then step through. That goes long. Finlayson with the rebound as Hobart will look for maybe a quick 2 for 1, or they'll just settle for 1 shot here as Collins. Nice play into George. One-on-one with Shearer. This is going to be an interesting matchup all night. George with the baby hook. That's off as D'Angelo brings it down. This should be the last play for the first quarter.
Going to want to take the lead here, the Spectres. Just a bit of momentum. Take the air out of the crowd.
So D'Angelo kind of goes retreat dribble, then pulls up with a step back. That is off. Macaulay with the rebound. But at quarter time, it is Hobart 19, Nunawading 18. What are your thoughts so far, JB?
I'll tell you what, it's been a great back and forward contest. The Spectres looked like they were going to break into double digits there early on, Ronald, and just a couple of execution factors there on offence, a couple of lucky breaks there on defence there for the Huskies has managed to drag them back into it and, in fact, as we mentioned, lead the game. The Spectres are probably going to be a little disappointed in that finish there. I mean, they made some great defensive efforts, there's no doubt about it. Just weren't able to execute a couple of times there. And just a couple of silly turnovers. I mean, all teams have them, and unfortunately it just cost them the lead at the end of that quarter. I'm going to imagine that Coach Joseph is just going to implore them to stick to their defence and be careful not to ball watch. A couple of times down here, they were ball watching a little too much on defence, which caused a lot of open options for the Spectres. If the Spectres start picking up on that, they start executing their shots, I mean, we could genuinely be actually looking at a 10-point margin to the Spectres.
Okay, the other game playing tonight, of course, which you can see on the YouTube channel for the NBL. It is Bendigo taking on the Centre of Excellence, and we can give you a bit of an update as we've got all our live stats and gear here. It is the Centre of Excellence 12, Bendigo 10 in that ball game, and you can see that game live right now if you want to kind of channel switch, or you could stay with us here at the Kingborough Sports Centre, as it has been a great first quarter so far. This is the first game of our double header. Obviously, Hobart and Nunawading in the men next, as we're
about 15 all by the looks of that, Ronnie. A bit of a delay on our end, but 15 all with what I could see.
15 all. So we are definitely checking the screens of YouTube as well. Second quarter about to begin, JB. What are the adjustments that probably Nunawading had to make? I think Hobart made a good little run there in order to get the lead back. So what are your thoughts there, mate?
It's going to be defensive minded. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the offense is clearly there for the Spectres. They don't really need to worry about that. They're getting the open men on the rotations. They're making their shots. They're stretching the floor. They're doing all the things right. For them to get back, it has got to be on the defensive effort, on the defensive end. They can't allow easy inside shots. They can't give away fouls at the basket, because that's what's going to cost them, and did cost them the lead there. So, again, it's just a matter of them consistently executing on their offense and playing smart defense.
All right, so Nunawading have the possession arrow to begin term number 2 as we come to you from the Kingborough Sports Centre here in Kingston, about a 15-minute drive outside of Hobart. Started
to fill up nicely here. The crowd of Hobart really turning up.
So as Boyd goes up for 3, we have a PA announcement going over to the Sports Centre here. So apologies there for the slight distraction. As Finlayson down term Collins.
At least it's not a fire alarm running.
That's very true. Macaulay with a nice pass from Finlayson. Oh. That Spalding basketball just set up there forever as Thompson got the O board. And got fouled as she drove to the basket.
Again, I think this is what Thompson's going to need. Get to the basket. She's been very shaken so far in regards to defence. I mean, she's been scored on a few times. She's just had a few shots not fall. I mean, we had one miss the basket totally. So getting to the line, get your stroke in, that's fine. Very unlucky there by Macaulay. Sealed very well. Managed to receive the pass, and the ball just teeter-totter the wrong way.
So Thompson at line for 2, makes the first. Now, Thompson had a bit of a breakout season last year in the Seaball, JB. So we're expecting something similar this season again from Thompson?
She's going to need to be at least at that level this year to really open the eyes of the league. Again, it's execution in the big games that's going to change her up as a player.
So, Antonio, though, now to Boyd for 3 from the corner and knocks it down.
Oh, that gives us a tie ball game again. Finding that open man on the rotation. The Huskies really have to be careful here.
So Thompson at the corner, drives middle, gets through, but again, good defence there by Antonio Doe as Hobart turn it over. Now D'Angelo, now to Boyd once again for 3. Didn't get the friendly roll there. Ball goes out of play and Hobart to get it back.
Substitution, Shear checking back into the game with just a tick, literally over 9 minutes remaining here in the quarter, checking out of the game. Them number 13, Caitlin McLaughlin, as the Huskies bring the ball down.
So Collins with it as we have just gone a minute here in term number 2. George at the top of the key. Now Finlayson Goes corner to Collins, inside to McCauley. McCauley got rejected by Shearer. Something we've seen in senior league and also probably had some training sessions over the years, JB.
Well, I wonder whether they just go a little bit harder at each other tonight, Ronnie. This is going to be another key matchup as well. Two veterans of the league essentially coming out of the Siebel and a lot of knowledge against each other.
Thompson for 3 and knocks it down.
She started to really hit some confidence here, Shana. That's 7 quick points on the board. And, the Hobart crowd really getting into it.
Hobart back up by 3. 24-21 is our scoreline here as Antonio Doe puts up the mid-range. That's off. Collins with the rebound. And then, poor pass. But ball goes out of play. Last touched by D'Angelo. Hobart to get it back.
Checking back into the game here. Kira Rowe checking out of the game at number 21, Tessa Boyd for the Spectres. Boyd having made a great impact so far. Rowe very similar as well.
All right, so again, good pressure there by the Spectres. Obviously, that 5-second violation may come into play for out if Hobart are not careful. Ball over halfway now as George has it. She looks at her options now. Thompson trying to go one-on-one against Rowe. Now Collins inside to George. Again, good read there, but McCauley there to pick up the scraps. George from the free throw and gets it on the shot clock buzzer, JB.
McCauley there just creating a bit of space between the defender Shear there. That was enough time to get the pass off and get the score there by George.
So D'Angelo, one-on-one with Finlayson. Good pressure then by Collins, but good passing to Pizzi. Puts up the tough shot, doesn't get it. Finlayson had the board and Thompson off and running for the Huskies. Thompson splits through a couple and gets the layup.
That's 9 points now for Thompson and a timeout called there by Coach Flynn. He's not happy with what he's seen, but that is the start, as I mentioned, that the Huskies needed. Kayla George really pumped up. Jacqueline Poss really pumped up on the bench, and that's exactly what you wanted to see. There's no doubt about it. Great Again, great hustle and great camaraderie around the Huskies. Great defensive effort, and that's exactly what you need. Now, from a Spectres point of view, they really want to just hit the scoreboard. Only having made one shot so far in this quarter certainly isn't going to help them, and not being able to stop it on the other end. Again, basic basketball is what will happen. So, yeah, I mean, it's good to see what's going on down here on the floor. We've had a very competitive game. I mean, here's your swing, Ronnie. At one point, it was 8 points difference in favour of the Spectres. We've had a near 15, 16-point swing here alone, and the crowd's really started to get into it down here in Kingston.
Yes, certainly that crowd's starting to build up. A few more people coming into the house. Like I say, it's first game of our doubleheader. Hobart and Nunawading in the men next. As both teams come from a timeout here.
Very quick timeout taken there by both squads, but clearly the messages are going to be direct from both. I mean, obviously the Huskies keep executing. You know, it's just going to be a matter of not allowing that extra rotation on the screen on their defensive end. But the Spectres at the moment, they're just going to want to lift their defensive intensity, and I do think Shear is the key for that. All
right, so down by 7, the Spectres. They need to work this margin back. It's a bit of a reverse from term number 1 as Antonio Doe looking inside, but goes to D'Angelo. Now into Pizzi. Pizzi looks at her options. D'Angelo at the corner. And, did a lap of honor, but went out. George with the rebound. Finlayson off and running as she gets it to McCauley. And Hobart looked to slow it down here a bit and run a set. As George looks at her options. Now, Finlayson at the top of the key. One-on-one with D'Angelo. Thompson gets a nice little move, goes baseline, good little fake and step back, and knocks the number 2 down. That's 12 points for her, JB.
She's very, very calm and collected now, Shana, having picked up from first quarter woes.
So Rowe, near to get trapped, but Pizzi for the response. That's off. That's last touch by Shearer, and Hobart to get it back.
Coming very hard for the rebound, just not able to get a grab on that. As Chilcott checking back into the game, they realise they need that spark. Poss also checking back into the game, checking out the Spectres, number 7, Chelsea D'Angelo, and checking out Ellie Collins, who's had a pretty good game so far as well. 30-21 our scoreline, 6:47 remaining here in the first half in favour, as I mentioned, of Hobart.
All right, so Thompson with it as Finlayson now has it and brings the ball down. So, again, Hobart slowing it down to their pace. This is not a bad option. Inside to George. Now kicks it out. McCauley, good play here by the Huskies. Poss lost it, but good defensive pressure there by Antonio Doe.
Got caught a little too far down low on the baseline there to start her dribble there, Poss. Great defence from the Spectres.
All right, so 9 points is our margin here as Chilcott looked inside but had to turn it down. Now Pizzi tries it. Back to Chilcott. Chilcott goes exploring, but now to Antonio Doe for the 3. That's long. Finlayson with the rebound. And then good hands there by Pizzi as Rowe got it, but then Rowe made a poor pass of it, and Thompson was able to get it. Now Thompson slows it down here for the Huskies as she looks inside, wants to go to George, but has to turn it down. Finlayson now at the 40, at the elbow, one-on-one with Chilcott. Gets a bit of space, goes cross court. That was never on. Antonio Doe with the turnover, sorry, with the interception. As Rowe inside the Shearer. Shearer with a nice move and knocks it down, and will go to the line for 1.
She's got to be very happy with that execution there, Kathleen, and has actually silenced, I can't believe it, she's actually silenced the crowd here at Kingston. Substitutions, Collins checking back in, and Finlayson heads out. But, I mean, that's the momentum she's going to want to build amongst herself as well, Kathleen, because she knows she can play at this level. She knows the sort of damage she can do. Of course, she's heading towards 30 in age, so that could be a bit of a factor too. When you start to become, you know, a senior player in this league, particularly with the youth that's catching up, could be a problem. But Kathleen's able to hold her own.
Shearer's had a very decorated career here in Australia, and no doubt that age is still good for experience for these youngsters.
Absolutely, and I mean, you only got to see there, Kylie McCauley having checked out of the game, she brings a lot of experience there for the Huskies as Roberts checks back in.
So Poss goes long to Thompson, but then Shearer deflected that, and ball goes out of play. Huskies to once again get it back.
So an inbound play here. They're going to want to try and extend that lead once again. I mean, they were close to the double digits, and I think that's what the Huskies are certainly going to want to aim for here in this last 5 and a bit minutes.
George goes to Thompson. Thompson, nice little fake over Shearer. Now puts up the runner just off. Shearer gets that rebound as Antonio Doe will slow it down here for the Spectres. About halfway through here, quarter number 2, as we come to you from the Kingross Sports Centre, as Shearer now at the top of the key and goes for 3, and unfortunately that missed everything, and Hobart to get it back.
Yes, unfortunately, just a bit of hair in the stadium there, Ronnie, but
we're trying to be nice, JB.
Absolutely, but unlucky there. Just one of those shots. I mean, we all have them. You only had to see Thompson have one earlier.
That's very true. Collins to Roberts, now going to George. Probably not the right idea there by the Huskies as Chilcott brings it up now. Goes to Rowe. Rowe for 3. Hits the iron and missed. Poss grabs the rebound and off and running. Look at our options now. Poss goes to George. George with a little ball fake and knocks down the free throw jumper.
Bread and butter there for George. That's what she wants to do, stretch that floor.
Chilcott, nice play
lovely
to Pizzi, and the response from the Spectres there.
Again, she's going to take advantage of that matchup with Thompson. She's clearly got the best of her so far, and she's going to want to continue to do it, and it's now only a 6-point ball game.
So 4:27 remaining. Collins with it. On Rowe, one-on-one, kicks it out. Thompson wide open for the 3, just long. Thompson will get her own rebound here. Nice little touch pass into Roberts. Roberts with a tough shot and missed.
She's going to want to make those, Taylor. That's her bread and butter as well. Again, as we mentioned, 12 points, 10 rebounds last week. It's going to be pivotal for her to hit those marks again if the Huskies want the win.
So ball now with Shearer, one-on-one with George. Nice spin move by Kathleen, as we've seen that move quite so often in our time.
Signature would be the way to describe that, Ronnie.
Vintage Kathleen Shearer.
Vintage Kathleen Shearer.
As George goes inside to Roberts. Roberts got fouled there by Antonio Doe, and she'll go to the line for 2.
Now, have they called that on Kathleen as she comes across, or have they actually called it on the floor? No basket. And they have actually called that on Kathleen just as she's come across, clipped the arm. I don't think she agreed with it. Checking into the game here for the Spectres, number 7, Chelsea D'Angelo, and checking out number 4, Rachel Antonia Du. She's had a good start so far, pivotal for this Spectres lineup.
So Taylor Roberts at the line, and she'll go to the line for 2. Now, interesting thing, JB, Taylor Roberts did sign with North Melbourne in the AFLW, but I believe now there's not much happening in that. We were able to have a chance to have a talk to her about that.
Yes, she's had she's not at North Melbourne at the moment, and having spoken to her, as far as I can tell, there's still a list opportunity, but not sure if she's going to get a singlet.
It'll be interesting to see. Now, the shot clock never started, I don't think, so the referees will now convert with the score table here, as we'll find out. Just looking down here, we've got a nice little view from where we are in our commentary position here, JB, so
Absolutely, the old media room from the Devils days, Ronnie, and
yes.
Yeah, I don't know whether they're going to be allowed to pack it in as hard as they did back then due to OH&S regulations. The last thing we need is a dunk and someone being crushed by a flying move through the crowd. But no, a tremendous crowd already building here. I mean, this is almost the sort of crowd you were looking at towards the end of the women's game last week. So to see this at just short of half time is great to see. And I mean, it's great support not only for the girls, but for basketball in Hobart and basketball for this Huskies brand. I mean, a whole rebranding across the spectrum here in Hobart. So it's great to see the crowd coming out and supporting. The support is much needed.
Absolutely, JB, as the Spectres now have it through D'Angelo. D'Angelo, one-on-one with Roberts. D'Angelo gets the better of her. Now, ball went to Nankervis and she lost it, and will go back to Hobart.
Just unable to get a grip on the ball there. Poss to bring the ball up, and 33-26. The game still feels in the balance here, Ronnie.
Yeah, it feels like it could go any way at the moment as George goes inside to Roberts. Good read there by the Spectres to deflect that one. D'Angelo off and running. Ball gets kicked out to Chilcott. Chilcott drives back to Shearer. Shearer goes for the three and knocks down the three-pointer.
She's pivotal on that. There's no doubt about it. She's been able to make those shots very, very consistently in her time across this level, and no difference tonight.
Margin back to 4. The ball inside now with George. George goes cross-court to Collins for the response. Just off. Good fight there, and the O-board for the Huskies. Now, ball gets kicked to George. George, one-on-one with Shearer here. Shearer puts up the three, and that missed everything. As Chilcott gets the rebound as she comes down, and the Spectres are off and running. Chilcott looking for Shearer, and does. Shearer nearly travelled, but then done well with the athleticism. Puts up the shot. That was short. Now, Thompson and Chilcott had it both. Now, they both travelled, but because they both had the ball, therefore, jump ball.
Big fight for the boards under there with Roberts, and also going in there was Nankervis. So a good result there for Hobart in the end, and great hustle there from Thompson. Pretty much the smallest person on the court, and she's come away with the ball.
33-29 is our scoreline in favour of the Hobart Huskies. 4-point ball game as Collins with it. Top of the key goes to Poss. Poss looking inside of George. Nice seal by Kayla George. Misses the two. Good stuff there by Rowe and Shearer. Now Chilcott with it as she comes up the floor and slows it down here for Nunawading. Now Shearer, top of the key here. Now to Chelsea D'Angelo. D'Angelo, nice move over Thompson and puts up a nice little runner and banks it off the window.
She's a young gun, there's no doubt about it. I mean, she's certainly a star for the future. There, at all levels. I mean, the world's her oyster as far as basketball is concerned, Ronnie.
Yep. Thompson gets. Chilcott fell asleep there as Thompson knocks down the open tray.
She's had a big first half here, Shana. Started slow in the first quarter, but she's really started to open up the game here in the second half, and probably a big factor in the lead here for the Huskies.
Chilcott puts on some moves. Now gives it off to D'Angelo. D'Angelo, nice drive, strong side, but misses it. Collins there with the rebound. Collins off and running. She has players in support. Goes to Poss now for that mid-range too, and that jumped out of the cylinder. 3 parts of the rim and just wasn't able to get a finish, unfortunately, and the Spectres are probably going to want to close this gap here and try and hit the lead by half-time, under a minute 20 remaining. So, ball now with D'Angelo. Now in Termton, that was Nankervis. Now D'Angelo, nice drive, and we'll get the foul, and she'll go to the line for one. Yeah, caught her on the hip there, did Poss, but a great finish by D'Angelo, and again, it's the young talent and the athleticism this Spectre squad has that's going to keep putting them in positions like this, not only in this game, but for the entire season. As we see Finlayson just checking in, not sure who's going to come out for her here. Looks like it's going to be Jacqueline, who's also lining up. We've got a 4-man lineup, not quite a college lineup here in the NBL1. Poss heading to the bench, but yes, again, Chelsea D'Angelo, a massive factor here. There's no doubt about it for the Spectres. So D'Angelo makes the bonus. And now it's all of a sudden a 1-point ball game as we have a minute 7 remaining in the second quarter. There's Hobart to bring it down through Collins. Now George. Hobart going through their set. They're looking for Thompson at the top. They don't get it. So Collins now goes through the elbow. Nice little move by Ellie Collins. Puts up the shot. Missed. George with the O-board. Back to Collins for 3. Yes. Her opponent didn't follow her out to the 3. That's going to be pivotal. Back out to 4 points for the Huskies. And a bit of momentum in the crowd on their side heading into the half. So Chilcott with a response. Just short. George with the rebound. as Finlayson, now Thompson.
Oh,
It's a good play, but unfortunately Roberts couldn't reel it in.
bullet of the pass, probably just a little too far ahead. Unlucky there for Taylor not to get it, who's coming a bit slowly up the court. Checking out is Shear. She's had a pretty good game so far as we have a look. 8 points, 5 rebounds to go with a steal and a block for Shear. And a quick timeout here taken by Coach Flynn as we have a look. 29.5 seconds remaining, 38-34 before half-time. A quick update as we look across onto the other game here. We've managed to get 27-25, 3:09 remaining in favour of the Lady Braves over the Centre of Excellence. Leading the way there for the moment is Richards with 8 points and 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, Pollard has 5 points for the Centre of Excellence. As we look here at our own game, leading scorer across all comers here, Shana Thompson, 6 of 10 from the field, really started to pick up. As I mentioned, Ronnie had a bit of a slow start on the defensive end, but she started to really make the most of it, which is good to see. 10 points there to Kayla George to go with 9 rebounds, nearly the double-double early. And coming off the bench there, contributions from Macaulay, but a very top-heavy start so far, George and Thompson and Collins as well, as we saw. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. She's making her shots, and, I mean, she's a triple-double threat no matter when she plays, Ronnie. Oh,
absolutely, JB. A force to be reckoned with as Nunawading restart, and we are under 30 seconds to play here in the second quarter. Half-time just about near us as D'Angelo now into Rowe. Rowe looking... exploring, now gives it off to Chilcott. Chilcott back to Rowe. Shot clock's at 8 now for the Spectres. They need to get busy here. Shot by Nankervis, puts it up. That's off. Now Finlayson hustles for that and does a good job, but Collins. Now she only has 2 seconds to get it up. Tough shot on the buzzer and throws it down out the halftime buzzer and sees a 6-point lead to the Huskies. Hobart 40, Nunawading 34.
That was a great finish and a great momentum, and that's really actually brought the crowd brought the crowd to its feet there, Ronnie. A great finish there. Again, as we mentioned, Collins now rounding out the half. That'll be 8 points to go with her half. She's had a great start there. 8 points. That'll be 4 rebounds and 4 assists. We'll just wait for our statistics to highlight here as well, as I quickly just do that. Send that through. There, we should be done. Thank you very much. As we look at our halftime entertainment just coming up here, Ronnie, but we'll have a quick look before we go to a brief break here. Halftime, it does see us at 40-34. And, yeah, it's been a very interesting half so far here for both squads. Again, picking up after a very, very slow start for Hobart. They've managed to hit the lead. And for the Spectres, they're probably a little disappointed. Started to finish really fast there in the second quarter and finished pretty well in the first quarter as well, as we quickly check over our stats here. Points leaders, Thompson with 16, Kayla George with 10, Ellie Collins with 8. Meanwhile, Shear with 8, Chelsea D'Angelo with 7, and Izzy Chilcott with 7. Our rebound leaders, Kayla George with 9, on her way to a double-double early. Alex Finlayson off the bench with 6, Ellie Collins with 4. Meanwhile, Chilcott with 6, Shear with 5, and Pizzy with 3. Our assist leaders, Ellie Collins leading the way on the floor with 4, 2 each to George, Poss, Antonia Dew, and Chilcott. And as we quickly just have a look overall on our defensive numbers here. Defensive numbers see us with 1 block to Collins, 1 block to Shear, and 1 block to Pizzy. So coming into half-time, Ronald, it's a pretty competitive game.
It is. 6 points is our margin, and while we've got a chance, we're going to take a brief break, and then we'll come back around with 4 or 3 minutes to go before we start the third quarter, and we'll come back to you then here on the screens of the NBL YouTube channel. Right. Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Just make sure we got our own volumes.
Hang on. Yep.
And you're back.
I can hear you, JB.
Okay, so there we go, Ronnie. Our volume's up. We are back. 3 minutes remaining until the second half begins. And, yeah, a very interesting game so far.
Very interesting as well, too. Before I just get to that, the halftime entertainment, I'm not sure if the people were able to see that, JB, but the halftime entertainment was done by a circus family. Mark Sands and his family do a fantastic job of street performing here in the local scene in Hobart. I can tell you his son, Jimba Sands, who's now gained some popularity over social media, has done a terrific job there as well too. So great to see the Sands family involved in the halftime entertainment here with some great kind of core strength and kind of balancing acts as well too. So it was very nice to see. But back to the ball game, JB, as we are, yes, 40-34 is our scoreline here at the Kingborough Sports Centre. And what would have been the message from Coach Flynn at half-time, JB?
I just think it would have been a message, you know, open your court vision up on offense, open up your vision. I mean, it's obviously a bit different. We've got a bird's eye view. I mean, we're the equivalent at the back of the bleachers. We can see everything unfolding, every little pick, every little movement, every little jab, every little hesitation. So I think from Coach Flynn, the message is certainly going to be open up your court vision. Multiple times, as I mentioned in the broadcast, the Spectres have been able to get open due to the fact that the Huskies are ball watching on defence, so they're able to get open shooters here or there. They just haven't hit them up as much as I think they would have liked to, Ronnie. So that's certainly going to be his message. I think look for the open man. And certainly on defence, I think it's going to be a matter of closing out on shooters, because shooting is what has brought this Husky squad back into it. They're going to want to guard Thompson. I think that's going to be honestly, I think that's going to be Izzy Chilcott's mission in the second half, to shut Shana Thompson down. Shana was absolutely ice cold in that opening of the first quarter, and now she leads the game in scoring with 16. Willie Joseph, I think the message is going to be continuing to execute and make the extra pass to get the best look possible. There's no doubt about it. I mean, sure, it's cliche and we mention it all the time on offense for all clubs, but at the end of the day, it's the extra pass and the execution on those open shots that's made it. And I think he's going to want to look to really use Collins, McCauley, Roberts and Kayla George down there as well to really draw the defence out, so girls like a Shana Thompson, like an Alex Finlayson and like a Jacqueline Poss can really make their shots on defence. Again, it's going to be a matter of not letting the Spectres execute on that weak side. They really, really took advantage of Thompson in that first half, and that's what really built them their lead in the first quarter and was able to fight them back in. So I think it's certainly going to be their defensive rotations that's going to be pivotal for them in the second half of the Huskies. Do
you stick with your tip from when you tipped Hobart at the start of the game?
Yes, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. They're up at 6. They're up by 6 at half time. Again, that slow start is something they're not going to want here in the second half, and it's not the slow start they wanted in that first half. So, again, they're going to want to come out here piping hot for the Spectres. They're going to want to take the crowd out of it, because the crowd's built almost 3-4-fold since we started this game, and they're going to want to start especially, I think it's going to be Chilcott and Shear that are really going to have to lead this charge, because if they can silence the home crowd, being from Hobart, mental game is on their side.
Well, we're about to get the third quarter underway, as again we are coming to you live from the Kingborough Sports Centre on the screens of the YouTube channel for the NBL, as NBL1 hits round 2 in the 2019 season. Chilcott to restart as Nunawading go to the left of your screen, as she looks inside of Shear and does so now. Shear one-on-one with Thompson, kicks it out to Pizzy and knocks down the 3.
That's the big shot they wanted, and the mismatch they wanted too. Thompson guarding Kathleen meant that there was a big having to take on a perimeter player. Not as quick, not as fast, not able to make the rotation.
So Poss now to Collins, in terms to Thompson. Thompson one-on-one with Rowe, inside to Roberts. Roberts, nice dump pass into Collins for the 2.
And that's what opened them up in the first quarter. Just able to use that high, that big man, the big combination on the pick and roll there, able to get open and get the shot.
So Shearer now with it, as we are just ticked on a minute to play here, as Antonio Do. Now to Chilcott. Chilcott. Shot clock at 8 for the Spectres. Inside now to Pizzy. Pizzy, nice little shot, but missed. Collins with the rebound as she looks to get off to Poss. Now brings it up the floor for Hobart.
Nearly a backcourt there for Poss. Just wants to watch her feet.
And of course, it's the light blue lines here, JB, at the Sports Centre. as Collins looks to Roberts and does so now. Poss at the corner for 3 and knocks down the 3.
Started to become a real fan favourite even after one game last week, and if she's going to keep hitting shots like that, the world is her oyster here in Hobart.
Willie Joseph won an illegal screen. Referees didn't see it that way. Meanwhile, Roberts had a rejection, but the scraps there by Antonio Do sees the margin back to 6.
Pass just didn't quite go the way they wanted at the Huskies, and of course the Spectres capitalised. 6-point ball game.
George inside to Roberts. Roberts now to Poss for that little mid-range J from the baseline. 2 pieces of the rim without success, and Chilcott brings it down for the Spectres.
That is her bread and butter there, Poss. She's going to want to keep making those. As Chilcott inside looked to be blocked there by Roberts, and Poss will actually come away with the ball there.
She does. Good defensive play by the Huskies. George slows it down. Now back to Poss. As Hobart look to get through a set here. Roberts at the elbow. Cross court over to George for the 3. Just off. Good box out by Rowe, and she'll get the rebound.
Thompson going to fight over the back there, but that could prove costly again. Shana's leading the game in scoring. You can't afford your best scorer to not be on the floor.
So, Antonio Do. Now inside. Shearer. Over Poss. That's another mismatch. I'm sure Nunawading need to look at that a bit more often, as Poss got the rebound and nearly loses the handle, but regains it. They need to get it over now and do so as the ball goes through hands. Now George inside the Roberts. Ball got deflected by Pizzi, and ball to get back with Hobart.
The Spectres need to be making the most of that. There's no doubt about it, but it's the execution factor that's coming in early for the Spectres. There's 2 or 3 shots they really, really should have made there. Unable to capitalise, and, I mean, it's costing them dearly.
So Roberts now to Thompson. A bit of a nothing play there, JB, but they get it down.
Shana just in the right place at the right time there. Ball straight down to the middle of the lane. A bit of a bailout pass from Roberts, but she'll get the assist, and Thompson continues to add to that score.
So Rowe, one-on-one, but now gives it off to Antonio Do. She looks at her options, puts on some moves. Now Pizzi, in term Shearer, shot clock at 5. Shearer needs to get busy and does so. The up and under nearly goes for her, and she got fouled.
That one would be a bit of a check on the hip there, Ronnie. Just give her a bit of a push towards the baseline. Tried to put her off balance a little bit too much action there. Checking in again, number 7, Chelsea D'Angelo. Checking out of the game is Izzy Chilcott, the captain of the Nunawading Spectres. And Shear will go to the line. I think she's going to want to probably improve her points output so far. Probably not what she would have liked. She makes the first.
I was going to say, how have you found a game so far, JB?
Very defensive-minded, there's no doubt about it. I mean, and you can only, you can tell that straight up, because the amount of offensive weapons this Spectres side has means that if Kathleen's going to keep scoring, she's taking away from someone else's productivity and ability on this team.
All right. She knocks it down. So margin is back to 6 here, as we're just on a tick up 6.5 remaining here as Poss. Now back to Collins. Collins hesitates, but then goes, tries to dump pass into Roberts, but she turned it over as Nunawading are off and running. Antonio Do goes baseline, kicks it to, try to get it to D'Angelo there, but was never on. So now ball with Thompson for 3.
Oh,
just
it
short.
Did look good from our vantage point, Ronnie.
It did look good off the hand, JB, as Shearer gets the rebound. Goes inside to Pizzi, rejected by Collins.
Bit of Dikembe Mutombo about that one. Ellie Collins coming right across, got her hand right in front of the ball, got the block, and she's played tremendous defence tonight, Ellie Collins, along with her all-round offensive game. Very, very important to this Husky squad.
Great to see some good athleticism there by Ellie Collins as D'Angelo puts up a little fake in the shot. George is there with the rebound. Thompson
getting the hand in the face there. That's key. She's going to want to make a few defensive stops here, Shana. Build her confidence up again.
So Carla George with it now as she goes to Roberts. Roberts wants to go back to George. She has to go to Poss at the corner for another 3. And that skimmed the ring. Bodies go down as the play continues. Shearer now to Pizzi. Back to Shearer, a little bit two-man action happening as Shearer puts on the moves, and that is a foul on Roberts.
Always working away inside and out Shearer. She did that constantly as a charger, now doing it as a member of the Spectres. And again, that's pivotal for Kathleen. That's why she's always getting to the line. She doesn't stop. She's always persistent. She's always making the defence question themselves. And again, prime example there, as checking out of the game is number 10, Kira Rowe. She's had a good start. Checking back in, number 21, Tessa Boyd, also had a good game. One thing I have noticed here from Coach Flynn, his rotation's very similar to that of Cooper Brown and Chivers last week. Really relying on that young squad as Shear makes the first. but really relying on that young squad and really trusting them. And I think the trust that can build from a coach to his players, especially on the road in a game like this, pivotal going forward.
Absolutely, JB. It's all about the buy-in as Shearer makes the second. And the margin is back to 4. 5.5 to play here as Poss nearly loses it.
Pressing defence here by the Spectres, looking to force an early turnover.
So ball goes to Thompson at the corner. Thompson goes baseline, has to retreat out now. As she looks around, Collins goes through. Nice move by Ellie Collins, and she'll go to line for 2.
Bit of a hesitation there. Looked like she was going to spin inside, drew the defence to her left side, went inside, had Kathleen meeting her there, and managed to draw the foul on the shot. Will go to the line for 2 as we quickly have a look on the other game going on, Ronnie.
Yep.
Centre of Excellence up 34-33 at half-time there. Leading the way there, Gabby Richards with 14 points. Good to see.
You can tune into that game on our YouTube channel here at the NBL. So, or you can stay with us here, where it's a very close battle at the moment as Ellie Collins misses the second.
Of course, Gabby Richards having a massive game in the grand final last year of the Women's Siebel Championship. 40 points, 20 rebounds.
So D'Angelo goes baseline. Goes to the top of the key. Now Pizzy she nearly got it and then went to the floor. Boyd has it. Now back to Shearer as a bit of a scrappy play. Good seal by Pizzy, but run down of real estate, and the ball will come back to Hobart.
Poss is one gritty defender. It doesn't matter whether she's the tallest person in the matchup or she's the smallest person on the entire floor. She grits, she grinds, and that's how she gets stops like that. Just forces the offense to really feel uncomfortable with their situation. Huskies up 5, 48-43 with just under 5 minutes remaining here in the third.
All right, ball with Thompson now. Back to Poss. As Poss, they swing the ball around the Huskies. Collins gets it open lane, rejected by Shearer. And shot clock is at 12 for the Hobart Huskies.
Vintage Shear there, and the thing that Shear gets the advantage on is she often catches the ball low on the block, doesn't go high and risk, committing that shooting foul. Gets it low, gets it early.
Shot clock at 10 now as the ball. Collins for 3. Yes.
She's been shooting the lights out, Ellie Collins. She had a great shooting game last week. She's had a good shooting game this week. Very pivotal to the squad.
So margin at 8 as D'Angelo goes baseline, puts up a tough J, but misses. George had the rebound and gives off to Poss. Hobart off and running. Collins now inside to Roberts. Roberts double teamed, but she's up to the challenge and makes it.
Very, very, very tall is Taylor Roberts. She's very hard to stop on the offensive and defensive glass. Once you let her basically below the middle of the key, it's almost a guaranteed 2 points.
Boyd with it. She looks around. Ball swings it up to Antonio goes all the way and will get the foul on Roberts. As Elliot Green was saying, she lifted up on the play.
Yeah, can't afford that to happen. As we see here, now a double-digit lead here for the Huskies, and Izzy Chilcott coming back into the game senses there is a bit of a problem. There looks to be a sub on the shooter. Meanwhile, Macaulay will check straight into the game. Coming out there will be Taylor Roberts, just taking a bit of a break there.
Yeah,
bit of veteran,
good to see.
Of veteran leadership coming onto the floor there, particularly in Macaulay there. Checking again, who's just checked in there? Number 13 has checked into the game. That'll be Caitlin McLaughlin. Checking out number 8 is Rebecca Pizzi as she makes the first from the line, Antonia Du.
And, of course, some breaking news has come through on my phone. We'll get to that shortly, JB. It is in regards to the NBL in the men's competition side of things in free agency. So we'll give you a bit of NBL news a little bit later as George goes inside to Macaulay. Macaulay loses it as she lost the handle. Antonio Du now to Boyd. Boyd has to slow down and retreat back. She's got numbers now. Shearer gets an open lane, puts up the tough shot, misses. And the ball back to Antonio Du. As she gets an open lane now as Macaulay wasn't there. Now a foul's been called. And I think this might be on Macaulay. Yes, it is. Yeah,
Macaulay hit her on the hip there just as she come through. Looking to get very physical on her way back down the floor. And if I'm not mistaken, that's another sub on the shooter. Poor Izzy Chilcott's. I tell you what, it could be full time by the time Izzy gets into this game with the way the substitutions are going. But I'm pretty sure Willie Joseph would have liked Kayla George just to step up a little bit on the drive there, possibly sacrifice the shooter for 2 points. But nonetheless, we're at the line for 2, and we'll see how the Spectres go, wanting to close this margin, have the momentum in their favour going into three-quarter time.
And the second one goes down, so Antonio Du will have a break as Chilcott comes back in. Now, very quickly, the through the NBL app, which you can download on Android or the Apple Store. It is Nathan Sobey has signed with the Brisbane Bullets for the upcoming NBL season.
Well, there you go. That is big breaking news and a great signing there by the Bullets.
So Finlayson with it now as she lost it. Good pressure there by D'Angelo. Ball now with Chilcott as the Spectres go on the break. Now, ball with Boyd. And she got fouled by George.
Yeah, reaching in foul there by Kayla George. That will put them over the limit and send the Spectres to the line for 2-3. 10 remaining. 53-46. The Spectres again narrowing the gap, closing the gap. That defensive pressure that they've wanted is what's, really what's working for them. Getting to the line now is going to be pivotal in this last 3 minutes, particularly for someone like Shear who can make the shots. Chelsea D'Angelo can make the shots, as you can see there. As Tessa Boyd makes that one, she's able to get the line, make her shots. All of these girls here are, no stranger to being able to score the basketball, and that's what's made Nunawading such a force over the last few seasons.
Boyd makes 2 of 2. Margin is back to 5. The Spectres just chipping away. There's good pressure there. Now, Finlayson nearly hooked, but I reckon she got away with it. And she'll get the ball back now.
This is great intensity on the defensive end by the Spectres.
So Finlayson now in turn Collins. Inside to McCauley. Double team but gets it out. George. Finlayson, good ball movement. Thompson for 3. Just short and Boyd gets the rebound.
Wanted that ball about 3 seconds before she got it. Shana, unfortunately, just a bit too much time for the defence to get up on her, pressure the shot.
Nada wanting to slow it down here a little bit. D'Angelo with that nice little drive through the gap. Puts it up. Just missed McCauley. D'Angelo. McCauley got the better of that in that contest.
I'd stay away from those elbows, and there's been a hold there by Shear.
And nothing unusual we see when McCauley and Shearer get together, JB.
Absolutely, but you know what? It's a friendly, competitive game. There is no malice in it. There's a lot of emotion driven out of these girls. They love each other to pieces. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. So, a lot of emotion driven into this game. So expect a fiery contest, and they've been pretty good here in the third quarter. The Spectres not giving away too many fouls.
It's a good battle so far, JB. When we're really enjoying the coverage on the screens of the NBL YouTube channel. George for 3. Yes, knocks it down.
Great assist. Tried to draw the defender away there. Thompson did it brilliantly and just couldn't close out in time on George, extending the lead back out to 8.
Chilcott nearly goes all the way, has to retreat out. D'Angelo with a free lane here over Finlayson and makes the 2, and she'll go to the line for 1.
Yeah, managed to draw body contact there, D'Angelo. Again, she is an absolute weapon of a player, and I don't know a squad in the country that wouldn't have her on it. There's no doubt about it. Again, getting to the line, taking advantage of the fouls, it's always pivotal in a game of basketball. There's no doubt about it. So, she's going to the line here. She's had a hell of a game herself so far. We'll just drag up the numbers for you here as soon as we can. But, easily in double-digit points tonight running.
Absolutely, JB. Finlayson now George, as Hobart will look to slow the tempo down a little bit. Margin's at 6 here for the Huskies. Finlayson at the elbow, now back to George. Shot clock at 10 now for the Huskies. George needs to get busy. Goes hand off to Collins. Collins with the runner. Now foul on the play. And looks like it'll be 2 shots. Now that is on Chelsea D'Angelo, as Ellie Collins will go to the line for 2.
She's had a very good game tonight, Ellie. Unsung because she does all the little things. As Taylor Roberts checking into the game here, checking out will be Kayla George. She'll get a couple of minutes rest and no doubt play her heart out to end the game here when the fourth quarter comes up. But again, heading back to Collins so far tonight, she's had a hell of a game if we just can get everything up here. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Very unsung. Again, Kayla George checking out with 13 points and 13 rebounds. Shana Thompson only held to 2 points in this quarter by the Spectres. Great defence and big reason why they're still in this game. As a foul's been called on McCauley over the back, and again,
that will see Nunawading go to the line for 2.
It will, no doubt about it. Again, McCauley might be coming off the bench, but the last thing she wants to do is sacrifice fouls because she's one of those players. She can play great defence. She's a good rebounder. She can make the offensive play down the stretch when you need it. So she is a more than valuable contributor to this squad.
Absolutely, she is, JB. Now, it is Caitlin McLaughlin at the line for 2 for the Spectres. We got a minute 49 remaining. 57-50 is the scoreline as she misses the first.
Just trying to drag a bit of volume into this crowd here. The bit of stunned silence almost from the home crowd here for the Huskies.
Yeah, that feels odd as she makes 1 of 2 there, and Hobart to get this ball over halfway. One would assume. It's Collins now goes to McCauley. Now Turn Thompson. So ball to get swinged around here, as you can tell. Now, an offensive. Now, is that a hold on? Oh, D'Angelo nearly gets a falcon, if you don't mind. But I think it's on. Yeah, it'd be on D'Angelo for a hold on Macaulay.
She was wanting maybe an offensive foul there, D'Angelo, and certainly threw the ball away with a bit of emotion, we'll say, did Macaulay. And, D'Angelo happily or quickly just getting her hands up to protect her face there.
All right, Hobart the restart. 14 on the shot as Roberts has to kick it out and does. Oh, Collins lost that one and Nunawading to get it back. A minute 30 remaining here in the third quarter as we come to you from the Kingborough Sports Centre here in Kingston. A 15-minute drive out of Hobart as it's Hobart taking on Nunawading in round 2 of NBL1 women's action. As the ball now with D'Angelo nearly lost it by good pressure there by Finlayson. Now Boyd goes for the 3 from the corner. Short. Shearer with the O board now. Foul on the play, and Shearer will go to the line for 2.
That'll be on Finlayson. Managed to actually grab the elbow and not the ball there, Ronnie. So that will send her to the line as Poss looking to check back in. She's very flustered. She's played very, very hard so far. That'll be Finlayson checking out as we quickly have a look across there. That will be her 3rd foul. Just an update across the numbers so far tonight. 13 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists to Kayla George. Shana Thompson, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. As we look at Ellie Collins there, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, Ronnie. She's doing absolutely everything she can as we quickly flick over to the Spectres. They've just got a bit of a mopping issue here. Yep. Kathleen Shear, 12 points, 8 rebounds, her typical self, 2 blocks and a steal to go with that. Chelsea D'Angelo off the bench, playing very well so far, as we mentioned, the double-digit points. She's right there, 10 points exactly to go with the rebound and 2 steals. Other contributors include Izzy Chilcott, who started the game very, very fast. She had 6 of her 9 very early on in the game. She's also got 9.7 rebounds to go with 2 assists and 7 points to Antonia Du and Pizzi each.
Shearer makes both as the margin's back to 4.
And here's that pressing defence here. It has worked well for the Spectres. They just need to hurry up and pass through the press here, the Huskies. They had Taylor Roberts open under the basket.
Huskies did well to break it, but they slow it down now. It's Macaulay at the elbow. Now Collins for another 3. Just long as the rebound is there with McLaughlin. As she now goes to Boyd, and Nunawading looking to slow it down. Ball goes through, sets hands, Chilcott. One-on-one with Collins, and then, rejected by Roberts, but done it legally, according to the referees. Yeah,
must have copped a bit of the wrist there just on the way through. As we know, Ronnie, hand a part of the ball, but if you're going to hear a slap, you've kind of got to call it. There's no doubt about it. But this is going to put Chilcott to the line, and it looks like a timeout's been called here by Coach Joseph. As we look, 46.5 remaining here. Both teams, well, certainly the Huskies in the over the foul limit, and it looks like the Spectres looking like they're going to do that towards the end. Not a big issue for them. 57-54 in favour of the Huskies. Again, a lot of silence across this crowd, Ronnie. Luckily, we can't hear ourselves through our headphones.
Yeah, true.
We certainly don't want that sort of situation, but
no.
I mean, yeah, just almost a bit of shock. You know, that 10-point lead, you know, it certainly looked like it had done the job here for the Huskies early, but Spectres playing great pressing defence, executing on offence. Most importantly, they've been getting to the line when they've needed to get to the line, and that's what's brought this game back, Ronnie.
It seems like Hobart are just having some breakdowns defensively too. You can see the gaps are opening up wide, and Nunawading are taking advantage of that as well too. So, what do you think the address will be from Coach Willie Joseph?
Well, I think he's going to want to really ask them to lock it down on these last 2 possessions, because no doubt there's going to be 2 possessions here for the Spectres. Locking it down, retaining possession and not allowing them to score, certainly pivotal. And I think the people they're not going to want to let get into the game here, certainly at this point, D'Angelo and certainly Shear, they've been their 2 potent offences. They've really slowed down Chilcott since the first quarter there. As you can see, also number 13, McLaughlin, coming off the bench. She's only got the 1 point, so they're probably not too phased about her. But Boyd has also had a big game, not necessarily in the sense of putting the ball, but she's opened up the floor for for Shear and for Chelsea D'Angelo as well. So they're going to want to look to probably pressure the ball handlers here, Ronnie, and avoid the game from opening up.
So Chilcott to make the second, and does so, gets the friendly roll.
2-point ball game here. Spectres are going to want to have momentum going in, and pressing defence here could reward them.
Yeah, but Hobart able to break that press. Thompson slows the ball down. Now ball with Poss. Back in turn to Roberts. Roberts trying to look for Macaulay, but couldn't get it to her. Thompson now inside of Macaulay. They go one-on-one over Boyd, and Macaulay makes the 2.
Veteran experience, as I mentioned, Ronnie. You can't afford to have Kylie Macaulay out of your ball game. You need her on the floor as much as possible to bring a bit of physical intensity, a bit of emotion, and most importantly, to score buckets.
I would assume this is the last play as we are down to about 10 seconds here. D'Angelo over Collins. Rejected there. Great block by Ellie.
5 seconds remaining. Got to get up the floor and got to get a shot.
So Poss needs to throw it up now. I don't think she's aware of the shot, the game clock, JB. And, yep, she couldn't get a shot off in time. So three-quarter time sees the Hobart Huskies lead by 4. It's Hobart 59, Nunawading 55.
Kayla George trying to drag a lot of energy back into this Hobart side, who seem to be down a bit like the crowd. But for the Spectres, unbelievable third quarter. It got out to 10 points there and really threatened to blow out. But a tremendous credit to them. Kathleen Shear anchoring the defence. She's doing a great job. Honestly, to see Kathleen Shear, the volume's gone up now. We've got a bit of a shirt hand out here. That'll get everyone up and about. But, I mean, again, as I mentioned, Kathleen has the ability to dominate on both ends of the floor, but her sacrifice on the offensive end has allowed D'Angelo, has allowed for Chilcott, has allowed for Boyd, Pizzi, Antonia to do their work while she's able to anchor on the defensive end. And I think it's a full credit to her and a full credit to the Spectres. Again, the rotations. We did mention it last week with Cooper Brown and with Chivers in the men's. And there's no doubt about it. Coach Flynn has done it here. He's trusted every single person, 1 through 9 on his team, to get the job done, and that's what they've done.
And we can see Coach Flynn in this time out. Very intense, very passionate. What do you think it's going to take for Nunawading to steal this one here?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He can sense a victory on the road. He can't wait to silence this crowd. There's no doubt about it, because they've got to feel as an organisation they can come on the road down here to Hobart and get two wins and go home at least 50-50 with both the men's and the women's on their Tassie trip. So he's imploring all of his players, don't let this crowd get back into it. Don't let the emotion of the game get into your head. Understand, you guys are executing on both ends. You're doing it well. They're drawing fouls. They're making the most of the weak side defence. I mean, that's all they've got to continue to do. Again, got to execute the offence that goes with that as well and avoid costly fouls. But, I mean, he's got to be happy with the result. I reckon you'd say the Spectres won the third quarter.
And we also, too, know, JB, that opposition coaches have always said the Hobart crowd have had a lot of play in the fourth. They're like that sixth man that you want.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. And, I mean, the one thing with Hobart supporters, not only with their basketball, but with their sport, they are passionate. And the last thing you want is, extra passion in the room. I mean, if the players themselves aren't motivated to win this game, then it doesn't matter what the crowd do. But there's no doubt about it. They're up. They want to win this game. Kayla George is here for 2 games. She wants to win this second game and get the job done.
So good play by Hobart, but Collins lost it as it comes off a leg, and Nunawading to get the ball as we start the fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter going to be absolutely pivotal here. If the Spectres keep up their play from last, they will win this game. All
right, so D'Angelo now to Chilcott. Back to Antonio. Now D'Angelo from the corner, just long. Shearer with the O board, puts up the hook and just missed. Now, Pizzi got an easy O board and gets the 2.
That's something that Coach Joseph isn't going to be happy with. You can't afford to give up offensive.
Turnover there, JB.
You can't afford to give up offensive rebounds. It doesn't matter what time of day and what game it is. Rebounding is what wins you basketball games.
Chilcott kicks it. D'Angelo for another 3, just long. Margin is back to 2 now as Macaulay gets the rebound.
And there's a player that's going to have to really make an impact in the fourth quarter, Macaulay, on both ends on the glass. No one's going to beat Macaulay for a rebound when she puts her mind to it.
So George setting the troops up as Macaulay looking inside. George wants it, but it gets turned down. Collins drives. Good pressure by Chilcott. Dump pass to Roberts. Roberts near the outer real estate. The shot clock goes off, and it's a 24-second violation.
Really rushed shot there by George. Really couldn't afford that one, particularly at her size. Not able to get the shot off as quick as some of the guards, and that's a win there for the Spectres. They're only 2 down as we've got... Do we need a mop here? Not sure. We've got a shoelace tie up by Shearer. She's laughed that off. No laughing matter for the Huskies. They're there on defence, ready to go. And 2-point ball game to the Spectres. They're starting to really feel it.
Yep. Let's see how the Spectres go in this offensive set as Chilcott Tries to split for a couple. Now back to Pizzy. Nearly loses it. Willie Joseph wanted to travel. Referees didn't see it that way. McCauley with the deflection. Collins then in turn to Thompson. Thompson, now Roberts. Again, good pressure there by the Spectres as Antonio gets the steal and Shearer will bring it down.
I just feel if you're going to give the ball to Roberts to... if you're going to give the ball to Roberts to McCauley, great spin by Shearer and a great...
Vintage move by Kathleen Shearer.
Absolutely vintage, no doubt about it. Just on that play previous with Thompson and with Roberts, if you're going to give the ball to your bigs, don't give it to their chest. Give it up high to their head. They're going to catch it, turn, spin and go. Ball up high is the safest place for a big.
So George with now. We are tied at 59 with 8 minutes remaining. George, shot clock at 10 and beyond here for the Huskies. And she needs to get busy. Puts up a tough shot, and time again, JB. We've seen her knock that one down.
Absolutely relentless is Kayla George. She's going to want to bring this crowd into it as well. She's the energiser for this team so far, and if she can just energise this crowd, there's no doubt about it. I think the Huskies can maintain.
Crowd on their feet here. Collins with the steal. One-on-one with Chilcott. Euro step and got the foul. And Ellie Collins will go to the line for 2.
They've called her in a step, so that'll put her to the line to 2. Ellie, a very good shooter and a very good finisher. Quickly, as we just look at the other game here, Lady Braves deep into the third quarter, up 50-45. But as we get back to Collins here, she's had a big game so far. As we mentioned, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. She's almost the player of the game here, no doubt about it. She's going to want to make these.
So Ellie Collins, now she did play with the Perth Lynx in the WNBL season under coach Andy Stewart, who's a stalwart of Western Australian basketball. So Ellie bringing her experience back to Hobart here.
Absolutely, she goes 1 or 2 there, and I mean she's been dominating the NWBU past week, a 38-point triple-double, so she's had some great form over the last few weeks.
So Antonio inside the Pizzy. Pizzy with a little hook, that's short. Shearer with another board. Throws the arm around, but I think the foul will be called on Poss as Shearer didn't like the treatment.
No, and it's very seldom that you will see Kathleen Shearer act out like that.
So
that one definitely called on Poss there. I mean, but she's a gritty defender. You're going to get those sort of reactions, and almost a mental game by Poss to have the opposition to do that because, I mean, especially at her size, she doesn't want her opponent to get the best of her.
Absolutely, Shearer always a winner in everyone's mind as D'Angelo. Now, Antonio inside Shearer, one-on-one with Collins. Collins gets, that was an obvious foul there as Shearer will go to the line for 2.
Absolutely, and one thing I think that certainly gives Shearer the advantage is she does have her centre of gravity, but she's very long in the legs and can sometimes just lose her balance a bit. As checking into the game here, number 10, Kira Rowe, and checking out number 9, the captain, Izzy Chilcott. She's had a reasonable game so far, and she's going to want to look to rest up and just deliver here. In the fourth, as she goes to the line with essentially the balance of the game here. This is going to be big for momentum, makes the first.
And Shearer has knocked down big shots before. You only got to go back to the 2014 South Conference final against Bendigo where she hit that big 3 down the stretch.
Makes 2 or 2 there. She's a clutch player again. She knows the venue, she knows the rim, she knows the opponent. She could probably tell you how many splinters are in the floor.
Oh, my word, she could, JB. Poss brings it down the floor. Now George. George for a response. Yes.
She's a WNBA talent for that reason. I tell you what, she's just lifted her teammates a bit there. Sense of extra energy after that make shot.
Can the intensity go up here for the Huskies? We'll soon find out. Pizzy, now D'Angelo. D'Angelo finds that open lane once again. Tough shot over 2, so good defense by Ellie Collins and Kayla George combined as George brings it down the floor. Here's Poss with it now. Will we see some emotion from her as George goes inside to Roberts. Roberts near gets double teamed, but then equal to the challenge and makes the 2.
Baseline to open up. Kayla George is absolutely... She's going off a rocker, as they say, Ronnie. She's very emotional here. Game's back out to 6, and the Spectres are going to want to hit a couple of shots here or call a quick timeout.
Pizzy missed everything on that shot as George gets the rebound. Port Phillip might need to look at a timeout here.
I think he just
George for 3. What? And gets a use of a friendly roll. And Nunawading need to talk it over as it sees Hobart up by 9.
They've actually asked the question whether that was a 3 or not. 3 seconds in the key, I think, was Flynn's question. He's called the timeout, and this game has gone from the position where the Spectres were about to overtake the game and take basically the building by the scruff of the neck and say, nah, this is our house now. We're going to win this game. It's a 9-point ball game. The biggest margin we've seen is 10 for the night. This could almost be unassailable at this point, Ronald.
Is this the momentum swing? As we slam the door in the comedy box, is this the momentum swing that Hobart need?
Absolutely it is. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Willie Joseph here's going to be imploring his charges, and you could see his players listening intently. And I think, again, it's the energy that all these girls are able to play. The grittiness of a Jacqueline Poss being able to just get under the skin of her opponent on defence, whether she's got the advantage or not. It's Kylie McCauley wrestling for rebounds. It's Kayla George making shots or not, really hyping the team. It's Ellie Collins just doing the little things to get it done. Now, on the opposite side of the floor, there's no doubt about it. You can see down there at the moment a big speech there. And I'm just trying to get a number on that one there. From number 4 there by Rachel Antonio. She's trying to motivate the Chargers. Chelsea D'Angelo's going to be able to make shots. They're the kind of players that are going to need to step up. No doubt about it. She's the defensive anchor. You've only got to see Rebecca Pizzi. She's able to come into the lane, sneak under the defence, make shots. All these girls are quite capable of getting the Spectres back in. It's far from over.
Just on 6 minutes remaining here in quarter number 4 as Antonio splits through and goes by George, and nice little layup but misses it. D'Angelo there with the O board as Nunawading reset here. D'Angelo pulls up from just on the 3, and Shearer with another O board. Hobart have some issues here on the rebounding in the last 2 phases. Nice hands by Ellie Collins to put a steal.
More great defence there by Collins. She's had a terrific game so far.
So Collins now with it, one-on-one with Shearer. Baseline, kicks it out. Thompson for 3, just off. As rebound there by Antonio as Nunawading bring the ball up now. A bit of a tussle there between Pizzi and Poss. They'll let that one play. D'Angelo, nice move over Thompson and makes the 2.
She's had a very, very good night, D'Angelo. She's actually taken advantage of every single matchup she's had, and a full credit to her.
Yes, margin back to 7 now as Hobart will look to get a response here. Thompson. D'Angelo right up and in. Inside to George. One-on-one with Shearer. And George gets the foul on Shearer and will go to line for 2.
She's a little frustrated with that one, Shearer. You could just sense that in her response there to the referee. Substitution called. That'll be Chilcott checking back into the game, and checking out of it will be number 10, Kira Rowe, who's had a pretty good game. Again, the rotations have been all right. Shearer just reaching for a drink, but yeah, Taylor Roberts is going to want to make these, stretch it back out to 9 points.
Kayla George currently will make that point 22, and she has 15 rebounds already.
Another massive game for Kayla George, and this is what Coach Joseph and the Huskies organisation brought her in for. Big points, big rebounds and big wins.
And make that 23 points now for Kathleen Shearer. Margin back to 9.
Kayla George.
As Antonio goes length of the court and then throws it up. Not a bad option. Shearer there for the O board. Now, looked like a hook, but referees let that one play. The shot was missed by Shearer, as now Poss has it at the halfway. So Poss looking for that on ball. Roberts may give it to her. No, they turn it down. Collins going inside now, one-on-one over D'Angelo, and nice move by Ellie Collins.
A polite round of applause, well deserved tonight. Ellie Collins has done a tremendous effort on both ends of the floor, and very elegant in that finish.
So now, Chilcott, she goes one-on-one with Thompson. Needs to see her options. Oh, nice little hesitation, then move. Goes triples the baseline. Pizzi for 3. Yes.
She's a very, very, very good shot here for the Spectres. Game back down to 8 points there, and they're the kind of shots that she's made all night that's just put the Spectres in the what-if category.
George inside to Roberts. Good deflection by Pizzi, and she's having a good impact, as you mentioned, JB.
Absolutely. I mean, it's little things like that, just getting a tip in, just disrupting the pass, dragging yourself away while the dribble penetration's going on so you can get an easy shot.
So ball deflected.
And another deflection.
Another deflection there. Now, the Nunawading bench have been told to sit down by the referees, and now they have clamped that down in the National League as well too. So a point of emphasis there. So the referees keeping on top of things as George over Shearer, and then Shearer made contact, and George will go to line for 2.
Yeah, she didn't look very happy with that one, Kathleen. Again, she's going to want to be careful. She's going to throw her heart and soul at this last 4 minutes to try and get the win. But George, again, getting down low and very hard to stop. I mean, she's the tallest person on the floor by the length of the straight, Ronnie. There's no doubt about it. So it'll be interesting to see just what she does in the last couple of minutes. Spectres on the verge of going into the bonus. They've got 3 team fouls, and she's going to want to take full advantage of that. Makes the first.
Absolutely. 4 minutes, though, remaining, JB. It's still a long way to go. do you sense another run in the Spectres?
Well, it depends. If this one here, see, 10-point margin. We had 11 previously, and I mean, no, they haven't managed to come back and actually make up the original 10-point margin, Ronnie. So, big ask here. The Huskies are going to have to do something monumental in the wrong for the Spectres to come back and win this one for me.
Ball inside to Pizzi off the pass from D'Angelo. George there with the rebound.
And they're the shots they're going to have to execute. Again, not only Shear, not only Pizzi, but D'Angelo. She gets inside as well.
Thompson to Poss. Poss with the mid-range J and knocks it down.
This crowd's really starting to sense that this one's coming to a close and that our team, the Hobart Huskies, are up.
Margin is out to 12 here. Ball now to Chilcott. Got the better of Thompson. Chilcott, baseline once again. D'Angelo from the corner. Missed everything. Now foul on the play, and it's going to go the way of Hobart.
They've missed a lot of shots here like that in the fourth quarter, the Spectres, and I think that's what cost them. That's about the second or third consecutive play down the floor where they've been able to hit the open shooter in the corner. Just can't get the job done. Checking into the game there, Tessa Boyd, number 21 for the Spectres, and checking out will be number 7, Chelsea D'Angelo, and she's had a hell of a game. Credit to her. 12-point margin here for Hobart, and they're going to want to probably extend that out to the 15-20 point range come full time.
So George will get it. Goes back to Poss, and they'll just settle here, I reckon, the Huskies. They just need to get into some sets here and just settle the tempo. Collins works away inside. Good double team there by the Spectres. Poss now to Thompson. Loses it.
Spent it before she had it.
Shot clock at 5. Thompson loses it again. George needs to throw this off from
NBA
range.
Ooh.
And that'll be a shot clock violation.
Don't worry about NBA range, Ronnie.
Was that from the car park, JB?
Oh, it was near the outlet, I reckon. My God. Just
I was going to say.
About a 5-minute drive from where we are. But
absolutely.
Now, if that one had gone, I think the roof would have fallen in. Absolutely monstrous distance there by Kayla George.
Oh, the
Steph Curry range.
That would have been unbelievable. That would have made a top 10 plays of the week for NBL1. As Antonio Do goes inside to Chilcott. Now Thompson goes down the ground. No call made by the officials. As
she needs to get up quicker though, Thompson.
She does. Now Chilcott again trapped in the middle, and this will be a backcourt violation. It will be, and Hobart get it back. Good pressure there by the Huskies.
Now hang on a sec. The referee's just coming down. Are we going to see a timeout?
No, flop warning on Shana Thompson. So referee Nick Draper has called a flop warning on Shana Thompson. So timeout called here. 78-66 in Hobart's favour with 2:29 remaining now. So the Spectres have got to make a run here now, JB.
Yep, and I think Coach Flynn's really looking and really assessing about what this team's got to do. There's a lot of focus there. And, yeah, we'll just see what comes with him. Coach Joseph here, a bit more verbal and a bit more active in his instruction than Coach Flynn. So it'll be interesting to see what comes. I mean, considering they've got the lead with 2:30, I would have thought they were a bit more relaxed. But, yes, it will be very interesting to see what comes of it. Coach Flynn there pretty much imploring his charge. I think they're just explaining and understanding exactly what's just understanding what's going on with the game at the moment, able to get these open shooters. I mean, he's probably he's got to be disappointed that a lot of those shots haven't fallen on the last 2 or 3 plays down. I mean, if they hit a couple of threes here, a couple inside, make a couple extra free throws. I mean, we're looking at a 4-point ball game with 2.5 remaining well in the balance. Instead, we're looking at the biggest margin of the game, and I'm sure Willie Joseph's feeling very relaxed with this situation.
One would hope so, JB, but we have seen some interesting things happen late in the fourth quarters. Very,
very late in fourth quarters. I mean, we were there for the when Mount Gambier were in the Seabull last year. Mount Gambier competing with the Chargers, and that was a hell of a finish to the game we saw, Ronnie.
Absolutely. George with the mid-range J and knocks it down.
Yep, she's very calm and collected there. Game-high margin of 14 points here to the Huskies. They've just cracked 80. That should see them get the win.
So, Antonio Do with the instructions as she looks inside for Pizzi, couldn't get it on. Chilcott now with it. The shot clock's at 7. They need to get busy. Shearer just throws it up.
God.
And it goes down for 3.
Very, very deep. I'll tell you what, that was probably, I reckon that one was NBA range, Ronnie, no doubt about it.
That could have been from the outlet, JB, as Collins now to Thompson.
11-point ball game.
Inside to Roberts. One-on-one over Chilcott. Needs to kick it out. Collins for the response. Doesn't go as Chilcott gets the rebound.
One credit to the Spectres tonight. They've held Taylor Roberts very, very quiet under the basket. Not only scoring, but also rebounding.
Antonio Do for the 3. That's flat. Now foul on the play, and I think we'll go back to the Spectres. It looks like it's going to be on George.
No basket called. That one
no,
called.
It's on Poss.
That one is on Poss. Very gritty, and she'd be very, very close, and she is. Yes, that will be Poss's 5th foul. So checking out of the game now is Poss after a 5th foul. 5 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists on the night. Probably not the production numbers-wise she would have been looking for, but very unsung is her gritty, hard-nosed defence that's been able to allowed her to get under the defence's nose. And checking in for Poss will be Alex Finlayson. 11 points, 91 seconds remaining in the game. Let's see how it finishes out.
Let's see if Hobart do close it out here. Shearer, Chilcott. They need to get busy now and get a quick score here, just to make things interesting. As Chilcott now to Boyd for 3. That, again, missed everything. As Pizzi, that is a shot clock violation, yes. Pizzi got the O board, but I don't think that would be credited. It might be credited to her, but shot clock violation nonetheless.
If she's grabbed the rebound before the violation, then yes, it'll be credited. But again, another prime example, just not hitting his shots here in the 4th quarter. It can make or break a team, and it's certainly broken the Spectres' momentum tonight, who had the crowd out of it almost at 3/4 time.
Yeah, just on a minute to play here in the 4th as George. Now Thompson. She looks around for options. Good pressure there by Pizzi once again. Good double team. Shot clock at 4. They need to get busy. Roberts, nice patience, and makes the 2.
That's the kind of finish she'll be looking to deliver later on in the season, particularly after her efforts last week. 13 points is the margin now with 45 seconds remaining.
All right,
Steal by Collins.
She's
off to the races.
Yeah, my word. Collins with the
fouled and one.
And 1. Thank you very much as Ellie Collins makes the 2.
Kayla George has had a hell of a game herself, but I tell you what, I don't think this ball game goes the way of the Huskies without Ellie Collins. On our numbers here, we'll just get a quick refresh, but she's had a tremendous game, there's no doubt about it. She's done it on the offense, she's been able to make the rebounds, she's been able to make the passes, and most importantly, she's made some pivotal stops on defense as we look here. Collins with what would now be, I'm assuming, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists after that finish.
Be interesting to see who we can get up for a post-game interview. As Chilcott knocks down the 3.
Number 1 with a bullet.
So Finlayson. Now, yeah, the Spectres need to put on a fair bit of pressure, and foul there on Shearer as Hobart will go to the line for 2.
So again, the foul on Kathleen Shear, and that will be her 5th foul. Kathleen comes out of the game, had a reasonable effort herself. 21 points, 13 rebounds and 2 blocks. That's the Kathleen Shear that we all love and know. Unfortunately not enough to get the job done tonight, but she certainly put the effort forward as her old mate Alex Finlayson will head to the line with 29 remaining.
Great to see Kathleen Shearer back here in Hobart. Like I say, 6 seasons with the Hobart Chargers in the women's program. Won a South Conference championship with them, and she's not only a true asset of Tasmanian basketball in the past.
She's family. That's the only way to put it. Doesn't matter where she goes or what she does. She will always be family to the city of Hobart and to the sport of basketball in Tasmania.
Now, Finlayson made both free throws. Chilcott puts up the runner and got fouled there by Thompson.
Just got her on the arms there, bit of a push called.
Oh, no, it's on Finlayson, they're saying.
Oh, it's on Finlayson.
Yeah.
I think Thompson was a little concerned. I mean, she was straight up, so, I mean, a bit of extra contact on the shot. And she's just, mentioning to umpire Westwood that she didn't agree, but that'll send Chilcott to the line. And she's had a pretty good game herself. Very quiet, in the second period, which is certainly when the Huskies got back into the game and really have held that unassailable lead. 14-point ball game with 24.5 remaining, but a good return home for Izzy Chilcott as well.
Absolutely nice to see Izzy Chilcott back as well too. Gets her own board, good fake, and nice little J there by Izzy Chilcott.
Pressing defence here, 12-point margin.
This ain't over, they're playing it out. It's good to see by the Spectres.
And I think that'll do it, Ronnie.
I think so. They might dribble this out, or the Spectres give another foul away. We'll soon see Thompson that's dribbling out and then gives it to Roberts. Back to Thompson. I think we can say this one should be over. Cross court from Roberts to Collins. They'll just slow it down, and that will do it as Hobart go 2-0 and win by 12. Hobart 87, Nunawading 75. And your final thoughts here, JB?
Well, that was a great game there by both sides. That was a full quality game for 3 quarters. There's no doubt about that. A great finish there by the Huskies at home. They go to 2 and zip, and it's good to see all the local talent really getting involved. From a Spectres point of view, they're going to be really disappointed for me, for my liking, in their 4th quarter. Just a lot of shots that they really should have made and didn't, and I think it was the execution down the stretch that really cost them. Great to see the return of a Kathleen Sheeran and Izzy Chilcott back to Hobart. Great to see young talent like Chelsea D'Angelo getting the job done, seeing Kira Rowe get the job done, Rebecca Pizzi get the job done. Some really positive sides for the Spectres going forward, no doubt about it. They're just going to want to work on their late game execution.
Great win there by the Hobart Huskies. Now, JB, do we want to try and see if we can get a player to come upstairs for a quick post-game interview?
Yes, I think we will. I might just duck down and try and see whether we can grab Ellie Collins. We caught Kayla George last week. She had a massive game once again, another over 25 points and 15 rebounds. So I'll just quickly run down and try and see if we can get Ellie Collins for a quick interview, Ronnie, and I'll be back momentarily.
All right. While Justin does that, we'll try to give you an update on the other game being played, which is the Basketball Australia Centre of Excellence taking on the Bendigo Lady Braves. And in this one, we have a minute 52 seconds remaining now, and it's fair to say it is game over there with Bendigo 72 and the Centre of Excellence 54. So a good little, it's been a good game so far by Bendigo, and of course the Centre of Excellence still trying to find their way through the NBL1.